around and find a cafe with a bathroom for something to eat. Not the bathroom. It's nearby buildings that are pretty. Immediately opposite that beautiful Easter egg dome, I am sitting in a cafe which I recognize from my research as Demel, one of the very elegant pastry shops of Vienna. And I'll give you a little glimpse of that when I'm through with my apple strudel and hot chocolate. This is my apple strudel, and as I cut through it, that pastry is absolutely light, flaky, and my hot chocolate. Best hot chocolate I've ever had, and cream that I've had. I asked the waitress how do they make that whipped cream, and couldn't get much from her except there was a lot of fat in the milk. This is the kitchen where the magic occurs. The inside is equally august. I wonder how long this has been here. You can have lunch here also. Here are the endless goodies that you can buy to take with you. This is Demel's, where I had my hot chocolate. But this man that I'm going to focus on right now, with the ball cap, this looked slightly suspicious to me. He walked from left to right. Sitting there, what I learned from his conversation with the man he's talking to is that he's into various kinds of biological research. And specifically, he was researching what happens when animals give equal amount of support to other animals and are equally challenged. He wants to do now, and he's talking to that man about volunteering to help him with, is do the same kind of research on wolves, which is interesting because we have one of the great populations of it. This is the Hofburg, or the seat of the Hapsburg, for almost 600 years, if you can believe it. I'd known the name. We don't know much about their history as Americans, but didn't realize it went on for 600 years. Know what this portrays yet, this being in German. Roman this looks, but I don't think it is, because it's just ordinary brick, I believe, and probably a sewer system. Visited the Raiffeisen Bank, which has its own history. Magnificent wooded office at the first floor. But imagine that someday in the future, all that we may see of it is this. The area is inundated with tours, so I'll just do a brief overview of it. Come back at an earlier time when I don't have to confront the hordes. This would have been the elegant entryway to the Hofburg. Pretty impressive, and this is, I think, our beautiful dome from the inside. So if you're impressed with the outside, you'll be impressed arriving in your carriage here. I'll just do a 360 slow pan. This would have been like coming to Washington, D.C., only far more concentrated in the sense of a building with power. And if you didn't get the point of my power, I'll drive it home with this large statue in this inner square. Perhaps we need to call it a courtyard. Fortunately, most of the tour groups are equipped with, whether it's required or not, I don't know, with a megaphone system. So you only hear the guide talking in a reasonable voice. This does project power. Can you imagine the discussion by the people who ultimately designed this as to which of the four corners these four characters would be on? The two that we're looking at from the front, plus the man on the top, of course, had dominant position. So who are the guys in the back? I love these sundials, hoping that they're old. Reminding me of the first one I saw in Florence at the church, not too far from the train station. There's a second courtyard into the square, not quite as august as the other, but may have well been one that the family found more practical to use. I believe this is a minotaur, and if I had any knowledge of theology, I might actually know the story behind it. And this a man and a lion again. It's impressive because there isn't, of course, that colossal dome above it. And it's not even as large. You wonder what they used all these rooms for. Was it both palace administration as well as family living? And what's beyond those far walls? We'll go see now. Because of something, Justice is on the back side of the statue with her scales. I'm not sure what this woman portrays, but she has a club that gives you any kind of hint. It's a unique gate in its coloration and design. We'll go and see what it is if we can. Pretty fountain on this inner courtyard, which looks anything but impressive. Run, run, the tour groups are coming, the tour groups are coming. It would have been a chapel during the 1400s, except it says it's for the music orchestra. Doesn't seem terribly impressive, but it might have been to the people who had access to this place. Wonder how original these are. Easter egg dome from inside. I just walked out from behind that building, which was the square with the huge statue and our Easter egg dome. And I'll pan about so you have some sense of what there is yet for me to explore just here. Not hard to get a sense of the majesty of the Hapsburg. Interesting, this diagram on the ground in this, right where I was videoing from, perhaps defines various things in this area. But what I noticed was the number 12, the U.S. Army at Pastries. Looks like Heldenplatz. Amazingly dramatic, heroic-looking statues, aren't they? You wonder what a reflection they were of the actual person. Oftentimes, emperors, as flaccid as they may have been, could portray themselves this way and get away with it. What's interesting is the duplicate statuary setup over there. Different person, or just a different context?